but also an author. Welcome to the panel, sir. Let me now invite Dr. Raj Kumar, Founding Vice Chancellor at O.P. Jindal University. Dr. Raj Kumar has played a pivotal role in advancing global legal education in India and strengthening international academic collaborations. Let's give it up for Dr. Raj Kumar. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Sanjay Jain, Head of Education, Google. Sanjay works closely with governments, educational institutions, and ecosystem partners to drive adoption of technology-enabled learning solutions. Thank you, Sanjay, and welcome to the panel. Moving on, proud pleasure to invite Yashmit Ketia, Chief Operating Officer, Chimera VC. Let's continue clapping for all the panelists, please. Yashmit is, of course, we are really proud of youth taking center stage, and he is building a $25 billion fund for our Indian startups. I'd also like to invite Mr. Abhijit, who's the Vice President of AI Business Transformation, Submer Technologies. Welcome to the panel, Abhijit. I welcome Shri Dhriharit Sahuji, Additional Secretary, Department of School Education, Ministry of Education. Sir, please join the panel on the stage. In his 3 decades of long career, Shri Sahu has had the opportunity to work in various sectors such as power, industrial development, housing, transport, besides working in the position of District Magistrate and Chief Development Officer in his initial period of service. Sir, we welcome you to the panel. Gauri Agarwal, who's the CTO of Koel AI, she would be joining us virtually for the session. She believes in having an agentic AI filmmaking platform, which she will be demonstrating here today. Welcome to the panel, Gauri. I would also like to invite Charu Malhotra, our co-founder and managing director of Primus Partners. She's a leading voice in competency-based learning, AI education, gender development, and skilling. Thank you, Charu. She will be moderating this session today. May I now invite Shri Narendra Bhushanji, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of Technical Education, Energy and Additional Energy, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Sir is a seasoned and senior bureaucrat and has led policy formulation, implementation across technology and education institutions. Sir, we request you to deliver your keynote, followed by joining all the speakers on the panel. Thank you, sir. Please.
Good morning, friends. Dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, dignitaries connected virtually, especially Gauri, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by thanking the organizers, Primus Partners, especially Charuji, and Impact AI Summit partners for inviting me here and for inviting all the panel here and giving us this opportunity of sharing our thoughts with you. Coming straight to the topic, friends, you will agree with me that the real question on AI, especially on AI, Gen AI, etc., is not that how fast AI will advance. I think this is inevitable, and we cannot talk about the speed because we don't know what will be the speed of this. But the real question in education sector is, will our education systems they will evolve to keep pace with the system? So here, can they do it? That is not the question. They will have to do it, but how will they do it? That is the question. GNI has redefined, reimagined all the expectations from our education system, especially on STEM side. We know Gen AI is using many things. They are performing tasks which have been inherently performed by students. In fact, our whole strength in IT sector is now, in a way, is being performed by Gen AI. Writing codes, analyzing data, generating simulations, supporting research. And we have seen that many studies, including those from IMF, those from World Economic Forums, they have predicted that as many as more than 40% of the core skills or the jobs will get impacted by AI. So that means degrees and diplomas, they are not sufficient. Our skills, like the daily bread or the daily milk which we purchase, will have a best before date now, that you have to come back to the college or somewhere to get those skills renewed. So what to do? I think we must align the competencies emerging from this ecosystem of education, skilling, and with a strong focus on inclusion and also equity. I will speak about this also later on during my part of this. Scale is also very big. This disruption is not happening in only few sectors. Disruption is across the spectrum. It is affecting every sector of the economy. So that means we will have to take whole of the economy approach. And therefore, India, because of the scale, has actually not performed so well, not performed so bad. We are already, I think, churning out more than 1.5 million just engineering graduates. We in Uttar Pradesh have 3 universities on technical education side, but many more on higher education side also. So we have more than, I think, 3 million STEM graduates coming out everywhere. So scale as such is not a big problem. But as I said earlier, alignment will be an issue where we need to focus, redesigning our systems, refocusing our systems. And there also I feel, because of a visionary Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, his interventions, we have done fairly good. We have created some base, as I am Energy Secretary also, we call about the base load and peak load. So we have done well on base load here because of the many interventions taken by under the guardianship of Honorable Prime Minister, like Digital India Program, Startup India Program, NEP 2020. In fact, NEP 2020 has already moved us from the rote learning to interdisciplinary thinking, to other things like flexibility. Tech integration has come in a big way. Your students can move out anytime, multiple entry, multiple exit. And so that has given us some basics that AI-enabled STEM education fits directly into our national vision. It is already there. So friends, when we sit here, look at things, we must examine it from the perspective of stakeholders. Students becoming the most important stakeholders. The skill profile of STEM graduate is changing, changing very fast. And I said earlier also that many of the works, many of the tasks which were being performed by our fresh STEM graduates are now being handled by Gen AI. So then students has to focus on what? Those things which machines cannot easily replicate. So they have to focus on systems thinking, ethical reasoning, interdisciplinary collaboration, communication, and especially the ability to critically evaluate the AI outputs. The future engineer should not be just a capable user of AI, but he also need to understand the limitations of AI and the societal impact of AI on every part of our society. Teachers are the most important link, and there I will later on explain what we are doing in Uttar Pradesh. They are the most important link. Teachers but has to see AI as an enabler. Sometimes I see, teachers becoming skeptical. They are telling students not to use it. They are afraid that students are doing homework. But I think we will have to embrace AI, we will have to welcome AI, and we will have to redesign our pedagogy. Our pedagogy must evolve. Flipped classrooms, project-based learning, simulations, virtual labs, adaptive learning platforms will have to be mainstreamed. Faculty development, as I said, is very, very crucial on this aspect. So responsible use of AI, it can actually reduce the burden of teachers. These days teachers are burdened with so many things, so that teacher can actually focus on mentoring and guiding the students in this new era of technology. Friends, coming to institutions and industry, which is the most important, and in institutions I will count policymakers like us also. So industry is evolving at very high speed. I will say at the speed of the thought, or you can call it a digital speed. While the curricula, it moves at the speed of the institution, and there is a whole lot of gap there, and we have to work towards bridging this gap. So in Uttar Pradesh, we have tried to take some initiatives. Two of them are the big ones. AKTU, our technical university, will be setting up a center of excellence. We are actually projecting it as the virtual AI university, spending to start with more than 100 crores on hub and spoke model, where there will be two hubs, basically one in NCR region close to Ghaziabad and Noida, and one in Lucknow. And all other 800 engineering colleges, other two universities will be serving as spoke. And to mainstream in our polytechnics, basically experiential industry 4.0 learning, we have rolled out a project of worth 7,000 crores with the help of Tata consortiums, where they will be setting up this project in almost all of our polytechnics, close to 150 polytechnics. On smaller levels, we have rolled out some pilots also, like we have started something known as Thursday Connect, because training the teachers is an issue. Till that, getting experts through our studios, we are rolling out, lectures to our students on AI, etc., and how to decode it, how to use it on every Thursday, using our smart classroom initiatives. So we are expanding AI literacy across all the streams. On Access also, we provide one tablet or mobile phone as soon as a student joins the higher education stream in any sector. We distribute close to, I think, 80 lakhs devices every year. So friends, in future, we need structured industry partnerships. We have to revise the curriculum very frequently. Embedded internships, project-based learnings, linked to real-world challenges will be required. And I invite all the stakeholders basically to come partner with us. Lastly, I will say artificial intelligence will continue to evolve very, very fast. So what we have to ensure is that human intelligence also evolves with it, stronger, more ethical, more capable. And we must remain conscious of the algorithm bias, the digital divide, inclusion, equity, all those considerations. Responsible deployment and ethical education must be integral to STEM education. Lastly, I will close by saying that the strength of our education system will not be measured by how many AI tools we are integrating into our system, but how we are preparing our youth to lead our country in this era of AI. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us, and we are truly encouraged by your words. May I now request our esteemed guests to please join us for a commemorative photograph before we begin the panel discussion.
Thank you. And as we capture this moment in a photograph, let's try and capture some key aspects of our discussion, which we can take forward in the year to come. Thank you, Narendra Bhushanji, for setting the tone. And you did put across all largely, in fact, entirely the constructs of our discussion. And we'll take these forward and delve deeper into these. AI as a co-pilot, we are all aware of. It helps us in our daily tasks. Right from what do I want to eat, where I want to travel, how will I do my work assignments. Apparently, around 70% of students, as data tells us, uses AI as homework assistants. And from what we heard at the AI Summit, around 13% of ChatGPT users are from India. And it just shows we are relying a lot on AI. How should that reliance and dependency develop? Let's discover through the course of this discussion. Raj, if I may come to you. And first of all, I think this is a great panel. It brings together policy, it brings together the academia, industry, as well as our young entrepreneurs, both in form of Gauri as well as Yashmit. Thank you for bringing the average age of this panel down, Yashmit. My compliments to you. So Raj, I mean, we're talking more in terms of AI and careers, and I mean, that's the final outcome, or one of the immediate outcomes of education would be employability, jobs and careers. How would the career services department of any college look like, particularly if we have to make a material difference by integrating various disciplines in courses?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charu, and thank you to all of you who were part of this discussion. Since I'm the lone educator in this panel, I want to begin by saying that it's absolutely important for us to recognize the extraordinary and even uncertain implications for AI in the wider realm of education. And I want to first say that while we are discussing reimagining AI in the context of STEM education, we should definitely include STEM to include STEAM, which includes arts as well. Somehow, if we end up ignoring the wider gamut of liberal arts, humanities, social sciences, including law and other disciplines, we run the risk of not fully understanding and appreciating the consequences of it. Second, I want to say that it's also absolutely critical that all aspects of university governance, including the Office of Career Services, will undergo a dramatic transformation. The typical approach to any career services office is to engage with students and requiring the development of skill sets and preparation for them to be able to be available for opportunities out there. They engage with potential employers as well. But that's the old model. What is now going to happen is that to what extent AI integration has been possible in the curriculum, in the course structure, in the pedagogy, in the very learning outcomes that students have, which internally get transferred into the preparation that one goes to for being better available for potential employers. The biggest challenge that we need to be conscious of is that increasingly, as we know now, and we've been knowing this for a while, there are a large number of routine tasks that are associated with human beings, including young graduates, is going to disappear. A lot of it is going to have AI-based systems, and already we know now data that 30 to 40% of jobs are very rapidly disappearing. The consequence of that is that we will expect higher degree of knowledge, expertise, and skill sets on the part of our students, and a reimagination of the career services so that they can position these potential employees to the employers in a better manner. The biggest consequence of this is that universities should be conscious of how we are able to reimagine education so that the fundamental objective of any university education, which is to work in the realm of ideas and to be able to build that knowledge, is not undermined, because all of AI is through language models, large language models, which is based upon the past knowledge that we have generated. Our ability to think creatively, our ability to develop analytical mind, our ability to take decisions based upon a variety of factors, including ethics and compliance and other aspects, need to have priority when it comes to preparing students for our future.
Thank you. I think that was so well captured in a nutshell, and you did touch upon the major, and gave me my cue for the next question. And Dheeraj ji, may I, pose this next question to you. Data, AI analyzes data, right? But it struggles with data as well. Data can be confusing, it can be conflicting, it can be unstructured, and it can be incomplete. But students tend to consume the data from these Gen AI chatbots indiscriminately, right? What is the plan to actually, and this is a large question from a policymaker's perspective, what is the plan to introduce early AI thinking in schools? Because this we've seen across, whether it's urban schools, rural schools, government and private. How can they be prepared better to be able to interface with data with Gen AI, generative AI chatbots?
Yeah, thanks, Charu. Thanks for having me here. The issue related to responsible and mindful use of AI is indeed a matter of great concern, and it has seized the attention of academia, industry, policymakers, and even the parents. The fear is that at times AI is throwing up biased or misinformed facts, and is also reported to making up facts. So in this scenario, what could be the safeguard that one can have? We need to empower our learners to basically separate the grain from the chaff, to actually find out what is relevant for them, what needs to be accepted, and this is possible only if they engage in critical thinking. If we see this, then this strongly aligns with our National Education Policy 2020, which focuses on development of scientific temper and critical thinking among students. At a very fundamental level, the policy says to achieve this objective through a paradigm shift in the pedagogy that we have in our schools. It aspires to transition the traditional pedagogy of rote memorization to an emphasis on basically your more competency-based knowledge, competency development of the students. Similarly, the assessment part, that is also undergoing change and gradually shifting to towards evaluation of the competencies of the students that are relevant to the real world problems. Motivated by this aspiration, the government has also decided to launch 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs in the secondary schools across the country, which will foster a spirit of inquiry and creative thinking. This is at a very fundamental level, because once the students start questioning what they are seeing, what they are reading, then they would be able to take better decisions, more informed decisions. Coming to the specific intervention, which government is thinking about making students more aware about artificial intelligence, we are planning to introduce a computational thinking and AI curriculum from grade 3 onwards. And if things remain on track, you might see this being launched from the next academic season, which is going to begin soon. Under this curriculum, the emphasis will be to first expose the students to playful exposure of understanding patterns, logic, and then gradually graduating to development of their digital skills, programming skills, learning through projects, and basically use their learning to actually use AI tools in real world problems. So beginning from grade 3, it will go up to class 12th, and then as my previous speaker Raj mentioned, that this should not be limited to STEM subjects only. Art subjects should also be given opportunity in this. So we are also of the view that even at the secondary level, till class 10th we have almost common curriculum. At class 12, there is, at the senior secondary level, there is bifurcation. So there also we are thinking to have courses for science students as well as the art students, because the AI, the role of AI, the use of AI is across the board, across all streams. So this is the specific intervention that we are thinking of making.
Thank you, and I look forward, and we all look forward to seeing this happen for majority of the student population in the country. Let me pick on one aspect that you mentioned, which was critical thinking skills and logic and creativity. And with this, let me ask you, Sanjay, we are seeing this movement from consumer to creator where AI is concerned. So, just from using AI, Gen AI chatbots to actually building or optimizing AI agents. How do you, so looking at this shift, which are some AI tools, and we did hear, earlier, speakers did speak about AI tools. Which are that AI tools that you think students should graduate with on, coming out from the education to the workspace?
Now, the obvious answer, Charu, could have been everything Google, as I should say, coming from Google. But let's.
I thought you would say, let's ask.
I would do that. That's why the phone is right on the table, listening to us and trying to figure out. Give me the answers. That's exactly what I'm doing. But think of it this way. Do we have tools that I can give names for? Maybe towards the end of my answer, I'll say, listen to me carefully. I'll throw in a couple of tool names that you should use. Most of you might already know them from the speech that Sundar and MS gave earlier in the week. But more than the tool, if we start thinking beyond chatbots, because using a chatbot is just being maybe a better searcher, trying to find out information that's already there, leveraging what is already there, engaging with what's already there, right? So rather than just exploring information, how do we use agents now in this agentic AI space, which maybe in a few years would become AGI, it's only a matter of time, to be our interns, to be agents who do our work, right? Now, I would dare say this, that what you want is 4 interns doing your work, and you could probably be at the gym. As a Googler, I would not want to say that, but if I was in college, that's exactly what I would want. That I would prepare an agent to find the information for me. I'd prepare another agent to work on that information, one more agent to check if that information was correct or not, validate it, and then create the workflow from that agent, right? So that's what we need to become, and I'll probably say something that I've done in my life, be a solutions architect or a system architect in AI, where you're not just leveraging AI to explore information, but to actually outsource a lot of things that you want to do to the agents that you're creating. So that's where really we need to get into. But then there are 2 very interesting aspects I heard. One from Rajkumar on the higher ed side, Sir also spoke about it, Dheerajji also spoke about the K-12 side. Now, both these worlds are very interesting and in a way very different, because now I've spoken to higher ed leaders and they would say it's very difficult because the kids who come from K-12 are not ready for the new world. So we only have 4 years with them. The schools have 12, so they should prepare them better. We as employers say the institute should have done a better job, but we have to still invest tons of time and hours in training. So the areas of problem is pretty much everywhere. I absolutely agree with Sir when he said that we should start something around AI, literally in K-12. There is a big gap that we have. I'm sure all of us understand that, but I think it's a great start with NEP 2020 talking about some of the initiatives around Atal Tinkering Lab. We have been talking to the ministry, and some of the thought process that Sanjay Kumar ji or the Dharmendra Pradhan ji Sir has are absolutely forward-looking around how teachers become the catalyst in this journey for students. We still believe the teacher is the guru in the room, right? Unlike in a lot of Western countries where teachers are not really looked up to, but I think in India we really look up to teachers as the guide, as the gurus. So it's really important that we empower teachers in this journey and they become the catalyst for the students to understand what is right, when to use, more importantly, when not to use the tools. In higher ed, it's a little different. In higher ed, it's about exploring, it's about becoming that architect and leveraging tools to improve understanding, validate data, another thing that came up during the discussion, how to ensure that the data that you're looking at is correct. So higher ed, that becomes really, really important, because these skills would help us when we go to the job world, or founders like him, we know where to take out the noise. There will always be noise, whether AI or human. So these are the skills that would really help. Coming to the core question that you asked, now that Gemini has told me the answer, I would say two tools under the Google umbrella that everybody should look at. Number one is Notebook LM. At Google, all of us have favorite tools, right? And if you in the last 2 years ask any Googler, which tool do you like, they would say Notebook LM. Why Notebook LM? Because that's one of those few tools where you tell the tool where to look the information from. Very simple example, you are a researcher, you could take 5 of those research documents from online, could be videos, audios, links, PDFs, whatever you want, put them as the source of information for you to engage with, and thus ensuring there is little to no hallucination, information correctness, and you can correlate where the data is coming from. So please use Notebook LM. Not just use it this way, but also engage with it to create infographics, slides, audio, video overviews, and whatnot. Mind maps, quizzes, and tons of it. So please use it. That's tool number one. Tool number two is AI Studio. Once you have the information that you have explored and engaged with, you need to start becoming that systems architect that you really want to aspire to. Use AI Studios to test, make it your sandbox to create agents, play around with it, move the temperatures up and down for the responses, engage with it to create various workflows and agents that you would want.
And these are all free open source?
Both.
Okay.
Both of these tools are freely available.
Okay. Good to hear that.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's the answer to the tool.
Since we are racing against time, as every panel is, and we had this whole last panel go beyond. So let me just, when we asked Gauri Agarwal, she's a young female entrepreneur, stress on the word female, from Carnegie Mellon. And she's created her filmmaking AI platform, which is your most exciting recent application. She shared with us 2 videos. Unfortunately, she couldn't join real time, the time difference. I would request our team if we can play the application, the way they have designed, and a few words from Gauri, which she shared with us. Can we play that, Primus team?
Hey, check out this TikTok. Do you think this is real or AI?
Seriously, who cares? Why are these companies using AI to mimic reality when they can literally create the impossible?
Like what?
What if I was in Harry Potter?
Or what if you were...
I haven't always been against birthdays. Each one reminds me I'm a year closer to death's cold embrace.
I don't want to think about that.
Don't you need like a dozen AI tools to make this happen?
No, ideally, I think it should all be just one platform.
And what about all the crazy prompting you need to do in order to generate even a single scene?
No, that's the stuff we let the AI agents handle.
Hi, I'm Gauri Agarwal and I'm the co-founder of Koil AI, an agentic AI filmmaking platform. At Koil, we believe that directors don't want to prompt a movie. They want to control their shots. They want to direct the performances of their actors, scout locations, costume design, and build worlds that bring their vision to life. And at Koil, we enable them to have that level of control over AI video. We believe that AI...
Okay, so that is creative. So not just AI, in fact, we spoke about the creative uses of AI, and in the orange economy, such tools become very, very handy. In fact, it becomes very cost effective also. With this, from one young entrepreneur, let me come to the other young entrepreneur in this room, Yashmit. You know, we've been hearing some very dramatic predictions about AI being that monster that's going to swallow jobs, right? So, is it true? If it's going to swallow jobs, what kind of jobs? And you've just recently passed out from the education system. So what are the core competencies in this whole AI augmented workplace environment that you feel students should have on leaving school, college?
I mean, thank you, Charu ma'am, for having me in this esteemed panel. I'm actually extremely honored to be here. I think the first question is yes, AI will be taking jobs. As Sir mentioned earlier, 40% of jobs will in some form be reskilled. A recent study showed that I think 100 million jobs will be changed by 2030 because of AI, right? But we also have to take into consideration the number of jobs being created because of AI. An estimated 170 million jobs will be created because of AI by 2030, almost having a net gain of 70 million jobs, right? So the point is that yes, AI will be taking up jobs, but the core question here is not about AI taking jobs. It actually allows people to upskill. The goal for the education sector and this entire esteemed panel with the Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal being here is that the goal is actually to upskill students to allow them to take advantage to work with AI and not against AI. Like you mentioned, I am a recent student graduate, so I actually have seen how pre-AI life and post-AI life has existed, right? So my perspective on is, it is being pushed back against by a lot of high-level education simply because they don't understand it. And that's not to fault anyone. AI is in some sense still a black box. So moving on to one of the questions, the further question is about what kind of competencies should students have while exiting that can be looked favorably upon by companies like Google. I think AI fluency is something that's very, very important. AI fluency isn't just about understanding AI, it's about understanding its limitations, how it operates, what it needs to operate, and even prompt engineering, right? This goes into the next thing of breaking down complex problems. I think AI works extremely well when you can actually box it into certain situations. So each AI does have its own competency. They usually work on either LLMs or SLMs. If it's an SLM, you can actually hyper magnify onto one use case and actually get a very specific answer coming out of it. So I think having that ability to break down problems into simpler problems and being able to provide that to AI and getting good answers is extremely important as well. Moving on, I think iteration is probably the name of the game. With AI being as easy to use and as easily accessible, you tend to be able to have an amazing feedback loop where you try, train, test, and repeat that cycle. Essentially, in this case, what it allows is a lot of experimentation. It allows you to find what fits. And I guess the final core competency I can think of is that the human-AI collaboration, there is a particular collaboration that people need to figure out. To some extent, you can't just give all your work to AI, as Sir mentioned, that go to the gym and leave it, because there is some amount of accountability. The work product that comes out, you can't just say, oh, AI made it, that's why it's not my fault if it goes wrong. You have to understand what you can give, what the limitations of the AI are, and where to delegate. And I think kind of having those 4 core questions or competencies would really help someone. But beyond that, I think curiosity is the name of the game. I mean, we actually work with Google through our incubator, and I believe that they are doing a great job in terms of helping uplift future generations. We have an incubator coming out, and Google being a skilling partner and actually providing free credits to our startups, it really is a major value add for us. So I think that students being curious will be super important. Jobs definitely will be retrenched, especially the early base level triage, analysis, reporting stuff. I think that will go. We have now Claude for Excel. Claude for Excel can do what a financial analyst does, right? And until the point in the next 3-4 years, until the AI is completely refined, we will still have analysts. But what this allows is us humans to go beyond just the base level groundwork to actually making strategic decisions and evaluating things.
Yashmit, just listening to you go through, all the competencies, I'm still catching breath. There is a lot of work left to be done, both school, college, skilling systems, whatever age group, whichever, wherever our students are placed, I think there's a lot of work to be done. And I'm going to look out for the space as you build your fund for the early stage startups in India. With that, let me come to you, Ajay. And you got data in your name. How many people have that? And I'm sure you've heard it said often. It must be a stale joke by now. But data does a lot of work. Making meaning of it, understanding the fairness. Students, as Yashmit even said, students can sort algorithms. Again, like he said, placing them in real-world context to have real-world value. For an equitable and, I would say, ethical adoption of AI. We all spoke of ethics today. What is it that needs to be done? And we have policymakers and we have academia here. This is your best chance. And we have a room full of people who are going to take this message out.
No, I think Yash is one of the very important person in this panel, because the kind of thought process and the baggage everybody else carries is very hard to break. And we require a very completely different thought process. And this we can be learned very simple example, that AI frontier models do not come up from Microsoft or from IBM or from large companies. They come up from young startups, and which change the world. And I think in education or in any other sector, I think we require people who can think what is required not today, what is required now, 10 years from now. How the world is going to change, how the world is going to transform. If we do think only what is required, what AI is in front of us, and start making policies and start changing, I think we will do another mistake. We need to start thinking that from now, 10 years from now, what may be required, how the AI will take shape, what looks completely fictional will become a reality, and that has already happened. What looks fictional 2 years before has become reality. 7-year degree, 5-year experience of doing a BTech and MTech of coding is no more required. That has become reality. I think we require a completely change of thought, completely new way of thinking. We are entering a new world, we like it or not. We will not recognize the world which we are going to see few years from now. What we have learned is no more valid. I think we require a very, very fresh thinking like child, and start thinking from now that how the world is going to shape up in every single sector. It doesn't matter what. You don't require 100-acre universities anymore. You will have thousands of universities and colleges.
If AI will code, what will humans do?
Pardon?
If AI will code, what will humans do?
No, they will become architects. So I think the most important skill, which I think too, which everybody should learn, no matter at what position you are in, the prompt and the navigating the AI. And I think this is the most powerful skill. If you know how to prompt and how to navigate the tool which you will have the most powerful tools in your hand. There is no doubt about it. And these tools will become 10x from now, very powerful. They will replace everybody's knowledge and skill, what is there in their hand and mind right now. The key is, how do you navigate it? How do you deal with that? How do you put the guardrails in it? How do you put the ethical and the moral guardrails in it? How do you see it is right or wrong? How do you put the agents on it? So there is a complete new way of thinking. Probably you don't require a new architect to design a building, but somebody to navigate to design their building through AI. And that's the very important thing. People are going to I forgot, the Salesforce CEO yesterday told one thing, that it is so hard to compete with a developer who can make a Salesforce module in $20 in a month. Imagine, in a month, somebody can create a Salesforce CRM in a month in $20. Now, if you have hundreds of Salesforce replicas, I'm not saying there's going to be enterprise application in 1 month, but it is not very far to make it right now. It is going to be everybody's cup of tea. So it is extremely important for all the students, all people, and I think one thing which we have not discussed, Charu, here, universities have to start thinking to make more entrepreneurs rather than more job seekers. And I think this is the biggest opportunity world has ever had, because now the dependency is very low. The entry to barrier is very low. The requirement of capital is very low. You could probably create a Zoho CRM on another application in 2 months of time and go live, rather than investing millions of dollars. Yes. And that's the payroll system, HR system, whatever applications which people spend millions and millions of dollars and years, now it is possible to do in a matter of months and go live, completely automated. So I am not very doubtful to say that it's not very far to have unicorns of single person. It is not very far.
You agree,
to say,
right?
Right? and it is not very far. It is not very unreal to think. It will be possible. I am seeing in my company where we make softwares. My software cost has gone down, which we used to quote 10 lakh rupees. Now we are quoting 5 to 6 lakh rupees in a matter of 4 months. Imagine. Right. And it will, and I'm sure we are rushing towards zero. Correct. It is not about 40%, 50%, 60%. I think the coding cost will almost go away. It will be very frictional. So if you eliminate the cost of engineering completely, which is done by agent, now you need to just become an architect. What you need and get out of it. I think this is a very fascinating word, very new way of thinking, hence requires a complete new way of education also. And I think we need to really, really imagine how the world looks like 5 years from now, 7 years from now, and decide our policies for our students and entrepreneurs.
Correct. And I think, Raj, if you can you wanted to come in very, very quickly. We're running short. And
I just want to say that predicting the future is always a problematic exercise. A decade ago, most of the education world were confronted with the fact that online education will completely annihilate brick and mortar campuses. 5, 6 years ago, it was promoted that coding, everybody in the world should learn coding. We promoted India as well. That went wrong after AI. I don't believe the brick and mortar campuses are going to stop being what it is. We need a fundamental question to answer: what do we expect out of education? If we don't get that question right, I am conscious of the fact that AI will not only destroy the future of humanity, but also will undermine the ability of institutions to fulfill their goals and aspirations. Many aspects of our life, including our ability to collaborate, think critically, think analytically, even develop a sense of emotion and empathy and sympathy. These are values which are so fundamental to what education institutions are supposed to be doing, and I don't believe AI will substitute. AI should be seen as a tool, an opportunity to scale up and to use that tool for advancing certain aspects of education, but it cannot, should not, and hopefully will not replace what universities do.
Absolutely.
I agree on sympathy and empathy part.
Right. Yeah. Now let me quickly come to you, Abhijit. I know our time is running out, but as you build submerged business in India, and from education to skilling, what is the talent pool that we need to skill and how?
The way that we see it from our lens, we look at everyone talking about the coding and programming and AI tools everywhere around. From statistics, we as data center builders for India, we are looking at a horizon that we are today of about 1.2 gigawatts of data center, which will host your AI softwares to run on, to be computed on, to grow to about 8 gigawatts in the next 4 years' time. Where do you want to get those workforce from? Every college, every university, every STEM is always focusing on coding. We need talent that comes in from thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, energy conservations, sustainability. For all of this, it has to start, as most of our panelists were saying. Yes, Mr. Bhushanji also mentioned that we have the scale. We need alignment. We need that alignment. If India wants to be the hub of not just the region, but the world, we need to look at the entire span of not just AI coding talent, but also AI infra-aware talent across. You need to have people coming in from coding. You need to have people coming in from systems and processes. You need to get people from the entire infrastructure build, the entire stack. We need to have a vertically integrated education system. So if we have that, India can only produce better global competencies and global competitive people who we can export out, not just in the region, but across the world.
And as was rightly said earlier, scale is no problem.
Yes, scale
and
is no problem.
Yes. So would you like to, Garima? That's it? Okay, so we have. Okay, anybody who wants to kind of, take a chance at this? Yes, sir?
Just I want to tell everyone here, that please take a deep breath. We will figure it out. As part of my surveys, I was taught many things, but one idea which stayed with me, taught by one of my bosses, that as a civil servant, everything will be excused. Your every mistake will be excused. What will not be excused is your ability to anticipate, think beforehand, plan and act. So I am sure human minds are capable enough. We will figure it out, and AI will serve us as a tool, and we will remain the masters.
Absolutely.
I would want to add one. I would want to add one more point. I'm taking it through the rapid fire stuff right now actually. Jensen of NVIDIA, in one of his keynotes, had mentioned that skills on MEP, whoever is skilled on MEPs are going to be the next millionaires. So it's not just about the coding, it's about the entire infrastructure that needs to be set up. And we as Summer are getting that entire skill as a part of the parallel, even on the vocational part, not just the STEM part, even on the vocational part, the IITs, the IIMs, all of that, or even to that matter, the ITIs. I mean, you have engineers out there who are in plumbing, into HVAC and all. We need to give them that kind of fill up to get into the AI world of it. Otherwise, they will be just stuck to something that they have been doing traditionally. We need to get the entire ecosystem movement towards AI. That's all that I'll say.
I just want to add that we need to, the NEP talks about increase in GDP investment in education. One of the ways by which we can overcome the challenge of jobs that we're talking about is that significant upgradation of our higher education institutions. The fact remains that the existing education model has left with a huge skills deficit at all levels. We have the ASER report which talks about 7th and 8th standard kids do not have the competencies of a 3rd or 4th standard kids. We have higher education institutions, graduating students who are not employable. These are aspects which require greater attention, and for that we should use AI as a tool.
Thank you. Okay, so one last word from you.
So I just wanted to actually add, I mean, all of you all are esteemed industry and professionals. As someone who's a student, right, I think one of the faults which I end up seeing is there's not enough infrastructure or pushing towards it. Everyone's mentioned over here how the cost of barriers to entry has gone down significantly, right? But the problem is that we aren't encouraged as students to actually be entrepreneurial often enough. We aren't exposed to people at a young age to see that what they're building. And obviously, you have to be realistic. 90% of startups might fail, right? But allowing for iterative cycles and building infrastructure which allows it, even if the infrastructure does exist in India, I tend to see that it's not easily accessible because there are so many loops to go through and there's so much unclarity in the entire program. So I mean, just talking to everyone on this panel, ensuring that students or people who want to build something have access and opportunity is a supremely important thing that everyone should keep in mind when building further.
Yeah, and I think I would just reiterate that we have government here, we have industry here, we have academicians here. Entrepreneurial thinking, early founder thinking is something we need to embed while we are looking at AI as well. Yeah. Thank you, and I'll just, Garima, hand it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I wish we had more time because the discussion was really interesting. Well, I'd like to thank all the panelists, distinguished panelists and guests here for their insights, perspectives, and of course, sharing experiences. Your contributions have not only enriched our understanding of AI, but also inspired us to think more deeply about making it responsible for inclusive adoption. We have some mementos from the organizers. Please go ahead. Thank you so much.